734-736-8239 is number. Call in. We are talking Jets. I'm about to connect the audio. Give me 1 second, folks, and we'll get it going.
Blog Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and we are back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Salutes to Venom. You know what I'm saying? We having a good time here. It's time to talk about the Jets. We're going to be discussing quite a bit. You know, salutes and congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams on their Super Bowl win, 23-20. It was a tough game, but they got it done. So salutes to them. Salutes to the Bengals as well for being there. We're going to be talking about quite a bit tonight because let me tell you something. That Bengals franchise has been through quite a bit over the years. All right. And they've managed somehow to build themselves into respectability and put a team together that could compete at a level to where they got to a Super Bowl. We're going to be discussing that. Does that put more pressure on New York Jets? We're also going to be discussing the New York Jets defensive line. We're going to be discussing pass rush as well. What's going on with it? You know, are we ever going to get some consistent pass rush around here? There's so much to talk about. Quentin Williams, all of it. Listen, I want to get right into it. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. So without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and get into the show. I am fired up. I'm fired up, man. All right. Listen, your boy is also on iTunes as well. Salutes to all the people that, you know, all the savages that listen to me on iTunes. But if you don't listen to me on iTunes, or if you haven't been over there, go to iTunes, look up the podcast, go ahead and search The Long Beach Joe Show. All right. Subscribe to that page, guys. And when you subscribe to that page, folks, go ahead and leave me a rating. Salutes to everyone that leaves me the ratings. 5-star ratings, please. You know what I'm saying? If you could, or just give me a rating, period. Let me know what you folks think about what I'm doing over here on my show. I want to thank everybody that does that. I really appreciate it. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. You know what I'm saying? The show's page is at The Long Beach Joe Show. Go there to at The Long Beach Joe Show. You know what I'm saying? And talk to your boy. Follow me and let's get going. Let's talk about what we got to talk about. Hit me about the Jets. I got people that want to talk to me about life. That's fine. We can go back and forth about it all. And if you want to see this handsome face, okay, you know, not only I have a voice made for radio, but I have a face made for TV. You know what I'm saying? I got a face made for TV. I'm just saying. You know, if you want to see your boy live, go ahead and go over to YouTube. Click that search button on YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right. When you do that, hit that subscribe button. And hit that bell for the notifications so that when I go live or when I post content, y'all be in the know. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss out. Don't miss out. We have a lot of fun. We shoot the shows live. We go over there. You know, we have fun as well. We game sometimes. We do it all over there. You also will see my content too. So please go over there to Long Beach Joe Show and go ahead and, you know, hit your boy. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe, comment. Let's go back and forth. Now, with all that said and put in the past, as well, for those of you too, I don't want my mods to kill me. I don't want my mods to hit me. You can also go to my link tree as well. I have a Discord. Please go to my Discord. Join my Discord. It's in my link tree across my social media platforms everywhere. We have a lot of fun in there as well. Talk a lot of stuff. We have a blast. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't come in there with getting a little too crazy. You know, you get a little too rowdy in that Discord. You know, the mods will put you away. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? they'll put you away. But as long as you in there having good fun and laughing and joking, we crack jokes about each other, we talk about it all, everything, football, food, everything is in there. So please hit my Discord link across my social media platforms and my link tree, and please join up. You know what I'm saying? So now with that all put on to the side, we have quite a bit to discuss. All right. Now, this New York Jets defensive line, we all know, lacks quite a bit of things. One of those things is pass rush, okay? This defense was ranked 32nd in the league this year. I'm going to say it again. This defense was ranked 32nd in the league this year, man. Whoa. I'm just saying, all right? And we saw this defense struggle. We saw it struggle with the run. We got torched in many games. The Colts game, we struggled stopping them from running. I think the first 5 games, we gave up over 100 yards to every single opponent that we played on the ground. There was some struggling there. The passing game, we were 30th in the league there. And a lot of people talk about a lot of things that need to change along this defense. But I think one of the biggest things that need to change is our lack of pass rush. Now, we all know Carl Lawson was a guy that we signed in the offseason, and we were unbelievably excited to get that guy in the building. Let me tell you. The entire fan base rejoiced. We said, hey, we finally got our guy. We finally got a guy that we can bring in. He's going to get after the passer. We haven't had a pass rusher in years. He's going to be a guy that's going to be able to get after it. Our sorrows are done. We can now move forward. We got a guy that can rush the passer. Well, then we saw Carl Lawson tear that Achilles in the offseason before the season even started. And then things just started to spiral from there. Now, if we're looking at Carl Lawson, and we're expecting big things out of him next season, I think he can come back and give us solid production. But one of the things that I look at when I look at this defense, and I say to myself, I say, okay, well, if you're looking solely at Carl Lawson to give us the type of production that we need from a pass rusher, I don't know if he's going to give that to us all the way because, again, he's coming back from that torn Achilles. We've seen a lot of players have that same injury and kind of struggle to get back into their form at least the first year that they're back, right? We've got to see what type of shape he's in. We got to figure out, can he work himself back into the same shape that he was in before he got hurt? That's going to be a big question. And so for me, I'm expecting some things from Carl Lawson, but I don't expect him to be the only sole pass rusher that we're asking to be out there. I think the New York Jets need to look at the market, the free agency market, and attack a pass rusher, and we'll be talking about that tonight as well. And I think the New York Jets also need to look at the draft and get pass rushers. I think we need multiple pass rushers. And I've talked about this multiple times. When you look at other teams around this league, they have multiple pass rushers that get after it. You look at the Bills. The Bills' defense isn't deadly just because they got one guy. It's just not Rousseau out there. No, they send multiple guys at you. They can get pressure from so many different places. They can get so much pressure off their edge because of the way that defensive line is built. You look at who we're supposed to be structured after, as far as defensively and offensively. You look at the San Francisco 49ers. Why are they successful? They have multiple guys that can get after it. Multiple pass rushers. It's just not Bosa. It's also Warner. It's also other guys as well that they can bring from the edge and make you want to pull your hair out because you're getting hit constantly. Your quarterback's getting blasted. Things are turning into turnovers because their guys are getting to you so fast. So we're going to be talking about that tonight as well. I'd love to see the New York Jets continue to add pass rushers. I think Carl Lawson's going to be back next year. I think we'll see some things from him, but I think relying on him solely, that wouldn't be, the best thing for us to do. I think Joe Douglas and, the rest of this front office and this staff needs to definitely attack the market when it comes to pass rush. Then you look at one of the bigger questions that we have as well, Quentin Williams. Now, Quentin Williams, 53 tackles, 6 sacks this year. I think he's had 15.5 sacks in these last 3 seasons. We took him 3rd overall. There's going to be a big question coming forward for him very soon. I think May 3rd, I believe, is the day that the New York Jets are going to have to decide if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option, all right, to keep him for 2023. Now, there's other things that they can do as well. They could end up signing him and extending him to a deal I don't know if they'll do that. You know, you can pick up that 2023 fifth-year option. You can also franchise him as well after the option too. The New York Jets have a lot that they can do to really stretch things out to keep him here for a bit. But there's a big question with him is what do you do with him as far as that? Has he shown enough to really demand the type of money that I think he's going to be asking for? And I've spoken with a lot of Jets fans, and some of them have said, listen, with all due respect, he was the 3rd overall pick, and he's been all right, but he hasn't performed like a 3rd overall pick. I'm just saying. I look at Quentin Williams. I think at times we've seen flashes. He's been solid. He's been good, but he's also been very up and down. Again, this year we were getting ran on by so many teams. It was insane. We gave up 260 yards to the Colts. We gave up 203 yards on the ground to the Saints. We gave up 185 yards to the Eagles. And there was various other teams as well that we played this year that just ran on us, and we couldn't stop him. And he was on the field for a lot of those games. And it was sight. You didn't see anything. You didn't hear anything from him. He also had a little bit of a shoulder injury as well this year that kind of hampered him. I believe in the Saints game, it hampered him too. He had a foot injury as well, you know, the offseason as well, that kind of hampered him too. So I think, again, Quentin has been okay, but even he himself has said that he needs to do more to really become one of those top-tier defensive linemen in this league. He needs to do more to have more of an impact on the game, to really, you know, to really put his will into the game, to make other teams bend to his will, for him to be that impact defensive lineman. He's got to do more. So it's going to be interesting how the New York Jets handle him. But again, they pick up that 5th-year option. He'll be here till 2023 either way. Then you look at Sheldon Rankins. There's big-time questions about Sheldon Rankins. Some people want to cut him. We're going to be talking about him tonight. Folu Fadukasi as well, going to be a free agent. There's a lot of people looking around and saying, should the New York Jets bring him back? You know, his big claim to fame is he's a great guy against the run. Well, we were getting ran on, and he was on the field too. We suffered. John Franklin Myers will be discussing him as well. He's a guy that we signed to a deal. We thought we were, you know, he had really turned a corner. We thought, hey, this is going to be the ipso facto pass rusher. And down the stretch, we didn't hear much from him either. So we're going to have some discussions. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're talking Jets. We're talking defensive linemen. We're talking, listen, Bengals got to a Super Bowl. When are we going to get to ours? You know what I'm saying? When am I going to get mine? That's all I'm asking for. When am I going to get mine? When are we going to become competitors at the top level? Come on, Jets fans, I want to talk to y'all. When do you think the New York Jets will be competing for a playoff spot? When do you think that happens? I want to have that discussion. So we're going to get to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. If you're watching the stream, wherever you're watching me from, please give the stream a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you have not subscribed, and hit that notification bell so when I post content, y'all be in the know. If you'd like to donate, hit the super chat. If you don't want to hit the super chat, please hit the Cash App. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. Some people like to do that. So we're going to get to these lines. First caller I'm going to is my guy, Colin. Colin, we're coming directly to you. I know Colin's got some takes, okay? Colin has got some takes. Salutes to you, Colin. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Colin, you're looking at the New York Jets right now. I'm looking at this defense. How many pass rushers should the New York Jets look to add this season?
Good question, Joe. First of all, good night, Joe.
Salutes, man.
Yeah, you know, for sure, you know, before I answer that question, and I will answer that question in a minute, but the one thing I wanted to ask you, Joe, was on the defense, or actually on the team as a whole. If you had to say this is the position we need to address the most, regardless of, you know, positional ranking and all this other crazy stuff, what position would you say the Jets need to really address, like right away, like the position that needs addressing right away?
Outside of, okay.
For me, I think.
Go ahead.
just in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a team, and you need this one position needs to be addressed like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I feel it's the safety position.
Okay.
I just feel like we have no one there right now, right? We're everyone is pretty much 100% on board that Marcus May is not going to return, and Ashton Davis is not the guy. So I personally feel like that's the one position on the defense that needs addressing the most.
And
because we do have.
Yeah, and I completely disagree with that. Yeah, and again, I want to thank you for calling in, Colin. I completely disagree with that, and here's why. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about the most important position that needs to be addressed, in my opinion, it's got to be offensive line. And after offensive line, I would say offensive line and pass rusher is like 1A, 1B, or 1 and 2 right there. You can win in this league and not have. Hold on 1 second. You can win in this league and not have a great safety, right? We saw this year.
Right.
After Marcus May left, we have multiple different safeties back there, and the defense plays fine. If you also look at it in the context of how our team is built and how our scheme is ran, you don't have to have great safeties in the scheme that Saleh runs. The Niners don't have like unbelievably great safeties. The issue with our defense is, and why you saw us getting bombed over and issues going on, is because we don't have a pass rush. When you don't have a pass rush, I don't give a damn who you got back there. If a guy has 30 years to throw the football, they're going to make plays. That's how it works in this league.
Right.
You can have a phenomenal safety.
Agree.
Listen, Jamal Adams was here. Everybody loved Jamal Adams. I'm just using this as an excuse. Jamal Adams was a solid safety when he was here. He was good. He wasn't horrible. He was good, right? We were still getting abused defensively. Why? We had no pass rush. And he was a guy that literally was, I think he was close to the record for sacks as a safety or whatever, but we had no real pass rush. That's why we were getting destroyed that year defensively.
Right.
We couldn't get to anybody. So the same issues that we had then defensively are the same issues that we had here.
Yeah, but I agree with you, right? And and here's where I'm having issues with the team, right? Okay. I agree with you with the offense line needs to be built, pass rush, all that, right? Uh-huh. But right now, when you look at the offense line, we do have Mekhi Becton, we do have Vera Tucker, we do have George Fant, right? Yeah. We do have Conor McGregor. Is that correct?
Conor McGovern.
The center. We have
Conor McGovern, yeah.
Right. Right, McGovern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to say the one position we need to address would be the guard, right? The right guard, right? If all the guys are ready to play next year, right? Well, this year, we have guys in place there, right? Then when so we can finally draft a guy to go into that right guard position, and if Mekhi is healthy and he's at the left tackle, Vera Tucker, I think we have a good line right there. I'm not sure, what position you would draft or address. Let's say in the free agency on the offensive line. Yeah. What would be the position you're referring to?
For me,
immediately.
Yeah, this is a great question. For me, it's two positions. One is the center position. I am not sold on Conor McGovern, and I don't know why everybody else is. If you look at the first part of the season, and this is why I said I think the offensive line is more important than anything. What did we just draft high in the draft? A quarterback. Everybody believes that Zach Wilson is our franchise quarterback, right? Everybody is like sold on him. We just get big capital to get this guy, right? That's why we took him high. So if we did that, then what do we need to do? We need to build to ensure that he succeeds. The biggest issue that the New York Jets have had offensively, whether it was when Sam was here or when Zach Wilson has been here, has been pressure, interior pressure. Interior pressure destroyed Sam Darnold's chance to be successful here. Now, whether you think he's a bum or what, I don't care about that. We've moved on from him. I'm telling you what we all saw. We saw
Yeah,
Sam get hit
okay.
constantly. We saw Sam get injured. We saw Sam suffer because we couldn't even properly evaluate him because he was under so much pressure. We couldn't figure out what he was or what he wasn't, but we said, you know what, scrap all that. Just get him out of here because we don't even want to try to sign him because we don't even know what he is and what he is. And Joe Douglas was ready to just move on from him, right? Fine. Well, now we bring in Zach Wilson. Guess what the issue still is? Interior pressure. Everyone is acting like he wasn't running for his life the first half of the season before he jacked up his PCL. That's exactly what he was doing. The big highlight play this year, him against the Titans, is him running away from pressure to the outside and telling Corey Davis to get downfield so he can launch a ball. Does anybody remember the first game of the season? We played the Carolina Panthers. He was sacked 6 times. 6. Hassan Riddick and those boys destroyed him. They were coming from the interior. I remember when we played the Broncos, they destroyed him. Then we played the Patriots the first time he was getting shots. And you can keep going on and on. As a matter of fact, the game he jacked up his PCL in was against the Patriots when we played him again. Now think about that. The lack of the lack of protection. Hold on a second. The lack of protection then did what? Costed us time to allow him to grow. It costed him time on the field. He missed so many games. And then when he came back, what did he say? My knee does not feel good. My knee is not stable. Until they told him to shut up, which I think is what they did because he stopped talking about that eventually. But if you go back, you can read some of the reports. He literally was telling the media and the fans, my knee is not stable. You cannot grow a quarterback like that in this league. If you look at every other team that is succeeding in this league, especially look at the Bills. Look at what the Bills are doing. Why? Because they can keep Josh Allen protected. They can allow him to go through his reads. If we do not fix our offensive line, and I don't know why people think our offensive line is fine, because it's not. Because, by the way, we're also ranked 27th in the league in rushing. We're in a run-first offense. How is that possible? Everybody just talks about blocking for Zach Wilson, but what about Michael Carter? What about him? This guy's a phenomenal back, but we can't figure it out because there's no holes open. We only rushed for 100 yards one time this year. One time. That's a big problem.
So Joe, would you address that the offensive line in the free agency, or are you more interested in getting a player from the draft?
I'm big on getting a player from the draft. I'm big on getting a player from the draft. We're sitting at 4 right now. I know some people want to talk about Kyle Hamilton at 4. I'm not the least bit interested in drafting a safety. I could see the New York Jets taking a guy like a Neal at 4, or if we trade down from 4, hell, I've been an advocate of taking Tyler Linderbaum at 4. I know people are saying centers don't matter. I don't know why people are saying that, because we all praise Nick Mangold. Nick Mangold could tweet, hey, I'm breathing air right now. And every single Jets fan would be like, oh, God, he's breathing air. This is amazing. Because we understood the impact that he had on this franchise, right? So centers do matter in this league. And we don't have a good one.
So Joe.
And so if you can get a franchise guy that's going to change your franchise, you take him.
So if they take Neal at 4, where is he playing? What position is he playing?
There's talk about him being.
I'm just trying to
Yeah. Well, there's talk about him taking.
Is he playing center?
No, there's talk about him being a guard. Some people saying that they can move him to guard. I know people have him at tackle because he plays there, but there's talk about him moving to guard. But like I said, you could take Neal at 4, or you can take Tyler Linderbaum, which is my guy. My guy is Tyler Linderbaum, which is a generational center.
So let's stick to Neal for a second, because if you take Neal, right, you're saying you're going to play him at guard.
Mm-hmm.
So we're either playing him at right guard or left guard. We're not going to play him at left guard because Barrett Tuck is playing guard, left guard. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be drafting him to play the right guard spot.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a wise choice at that pick? And this is where I'm having the issue, because yes, you would love to draft the guy, but are you drafting him to compete for the left side? Are you drafting him to play the right guard spot?
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying.
This is why I feel like he's a great player, but is that a great pick for us?
No, it would
I'm not really on board with that pick.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. You can be on board with the pick because there's a huge hole at guard. That's why I said you could take him at 4. But my personal pick, what I'd want to do is I want to take Tyler Linderbaum at 4. I know people are going to look at me crazy, but he's a generational center. Don't tell me that you can't draft guards and centers at high in the draft, because guess what? The Colts took Quentin Nelson at 6. Nobody will tell you that Quentin Nelson was a bad draft pick at 6. He's a generational guard. They literally run left all day. When we played them, they had 200, and I think they ran for like 230 something by the third quarter, and it was running behind him. That's literally their running game, running behind him. So I would take Tyler Linderbaum at 4 because I will draft a center to protect my quarterback, and I will move Connor McGovern to right guard. And then whoever battles it out, right? Hold on 1 second, Colin. Whoever battles it out, you can either wait and see what happens at, between Mekhi Becton and Fant to figure out who's going to be at that right tackle position. Or, again, because we have a pick at 10, you could end up taking a guy at 10, a tackle.
Right. I have no issue with what you just said as far as getting Linderbaum. And I personally feel that if he's there at 10, you take him at 10. I just feel like, it's a good possibility he will be there at 10, and I personally feel that if he's there at 10, take him at 10. That the fourth pick, it's a toss up because we really don't know what these 3 teams are going to do in front of us. If Aiden Hutchinson or Thibodeau falls to the Jets, obviously you're taking one of those guys who are a heartbeat.
Yeah, I can see
right?
that. Yeah, I can see that.
So how I look at the draft is, we sit at 4 because you're getting a top 4 player regardless, right? You're getting one of the top 4 players you can get at that spot. So you possibly can get the edge, or you can get someone else. At 10, I don't have an issue with Linderbaum. And then on the second round, depending on what happened with the first 2 picks, then you're going, either guard, edge. If you don't get the edge in the first 2 picks, then you definitely have to take an edge in the second round in those 2 picks.
Yeah.
So, the way I see it, in those first 4 picks, we should at least address the edge, the guard, the center, if the center is available as well. And, then the other pick in the second round, that's a toss-up. You can go to tight end spot there. You can go, whatever you want to go there, right? You can go wide receiver there. You can go a cornerback, a safety. But I just feel like this draft should be a little bit more heavier on the defense side after you address, the guard position.
Yeah.
And a tight position.
And I hear that, and I understand why, people are saying that. We have the 32nd ranked defense in the league, and there's needs. But again, I think if we get pass rush, this defense will look dramatically different. And also, I think when you look at where we're at within the rebuild, when you draft a quarterback like we did in an offensively driven league, you must build an offense. You can't look the way that we do offensively and think that you're going to win games either. You can't do that. You can't put your quarterback in the position that we have put our quarterback in. And again, Joe is still building the roster, right? Because he inherited a lot of nonsense from Mike McCagnon. But you have to build to protect your quarterback, because nothing will be functional here if Zach Wilson is not healthy or is constantly getting hit or can't get through his reads. Nothing will work here. Nothing will work here if Michael Carter can't take a step or two and not have a guy in his face before he hits a hole. nothing will work here. So we've got to fix that as well. But like you said, I definitely do think the New York Jets should focus on pass rush. I think that's going to be huge as well. So my last question before I let you go, these lines is hot, is we talked about the draft and the impact that the draft could have, but free agency I think can have a big impact as well. And there's a guy that could be out there, Hassan Riddick. He's one of the better pass rushers in the league. Would he be a guy that you think the New York Jets should be after heavy?
Yeah, listen, I think any free agent that can make the team better, we should go after, right? We shouldn't just be counting on just the draft picks only. If there's guys that, these guys are experienced, right? You need a mix of experience with the rookies. So if you can go out there and get a guy an edge, then you save yourself picking an edge early in the draft, right? The same thing. If you can go out and get a guard, if you can go get a guard in the free agency, you save yourself maybe picking a guy that early, and then you can pick maybe a wide receiver early or something like that. So I think the free agent signing is going to set the tone of the draft, right?
Yeah.
If we're able to get an edge, a guard, whoever it is, tight end, right? If we can sign those players in free agency, then you're setting yourself up much better in the draft to go get the positions that you're going to really need.
Yeah.
Then you can sign guys, you can draft guys that maybe you didn't need to draft, right? But now you have those players in the free agency. So now you kind of open up who you can actually draft, come draft day. So I think it's important that they Joe Douglas go out and sign at least 3 free agents, and 3 top free agents. So yeah. We get an edge, we get a safety, in free agency, whoever we can get, let's get them. Let's not just rely on the draft picks only. Let's get the experienced players on the team.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, Colin, I got to get to these lines. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. This was a phenomenal call from you, man. It really was. Let's give Colin a hand because Colin really brought something to the table, man. Colin brought it to the table tonight. I ain't gonna lie. Brought it to the table. Yeah. Y'all doing too much early. Don't clap too much early. You know what I'm saying? I don't pay y'all for that. But salutes to you, Colin. I want to thank you for calling in, man. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
All right, Joe. Take care, buddy.
Have a good one. Bye. Listen, Colin calling in with the heat. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Please give the stream a thumbs up if you have not. Also subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and hit that notification bell. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hot. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Salutes to all the savages. We'll come to you folks in a second. I know y'all got questions there in the chat. But next, we're going to go to my guy, Jacob. We're coming directly to Jacob. Salute Steve, salute Venom. We'll come to you in a second. But Jacob is on the line, and I know he can't wait to get his takes off. Salutes to you, Jacob. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Jacob, there's a lot of talk about this defensive line. That's what we're talking about tonight. Quentin Williams, now that the season is over, what are your thoughts about his production so far? And has he lived up to being the 3rd overall pick? Has he lived up to the hype, man?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Nice to talk to you again.
Salute.
And definitely want to talk about Quinn Williams. Would also love to talk about the draft just like that last guy. But getting back to Quinn Williams, I think he's been solid enough to where we should pick up a 5th-year option and then definitely get a long-term deal done.
Okay.
Because while the numbers don't show it necessarily just in sacks, because I think for a lot of pass rushers, that's the first thing a lot of people go to is just, if they're not in the double-digit sack category, then are they really worth, $15 million a year, $20 million a year or whatever? But he does a lot more than just getting sacks because he's more of a pressures guy.
Yep.
Similar to Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson only had 5.5 sacks with the Bengals in 2019. But he or 2020, I guess. But we paid him good money for that because he had I want to say 50, 60 something pressures, and pressures are just as important as sacks because getting into quarterback space, not every quarterback out there is prime Tom Brady with pressure in their face. They know how to handle it and they're not going to make a dumb decision. Most of the quarterbacks in the league are not like that. So having a guy who can, get pressure to the quarterback, attract double teams here and there, and also be pretty solid in the run game, I think is definitely worth re-signing, because at the end of the day, even if our whole defense as a whole, got ran all over the place in the run game, you cannot put that on one single player. It doesn't matter who it is. If the Rams give up 200 rushing yards, you can't just automatically say Aaron Donald is, he's a liability in the run game. That's not fair to say. So, for the people who are saying the Jets' run defense wasn't good enough, and it's all Quentin Williams' fault, I don't think that's a fair thing to say at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hear you there, Jacob, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one because it's something you just said as well. You said there's some fans out there that are saying it's all his fault. Now, I won't say it's all his fault, but if he's the 3rd overall pick and he's the guy that's supposed to be the dominant defensive tackle, wouldn't you say that some of it is like, hey, man, when they're running straight at you and we're seeing you get pushed aside, like we saw we played the Eagles, like we saw when we played various other teams where we just got destroyed by the Colts, the Saints, where we gave up 203 yards to them. I mean, don't you understand why some people are like, hey, look, I get it. 3rd overall pick, he flashes here and there, but we'll pump your brakes there before you start talking about picking up that 5th-year option, because there's some Jets fans that feel like he has not done enough.
Well, yeah, I get it completely. And of course, there's some of the blame is going to be on him just as it's going to be on everybody else, because his defense is a whole, and every individual player has their own responsibilities. So are there going to be times where he's the one at fault for the, the big first down or whatever? Sure, absolutely. I don't think there's any player who's not going to be at fault at some point, throughout the season for giving up a big play. But I think at the same time, what he offers in the run and pass game is much greater than most of the defensive tackles in the NFL, I think. Now, I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not saying he's top 3, maybe not even top 5. But I think he's a top 10 defensive tackle. I think that's a fair, thing to say. You could maybe argue top 7, or, if you really wanted to get the hot takes, you could say top 5. But I think he's in that top 7 to 9 range, I think is a fair thing to say. Okay. And so when you have somebody like that on your team who's only, 24 years old, I want to say 23, 24, maybe 25. I'm not exactly sure. In that range where he's still very, very young, I don't think you can just let that go for nothing, especially when the defense is focused around the defensive line and not the secondary. You can't let something like that walk away for free. Okay. And I personally just think he's too valuable to keep, because a lot of the stuff that he does is not what the stat sheet's going to show. It's going to be some of the, deeper statistics where it comes to pressure rates and percentages of run stuffing and pass win rate and stuff like that, where unless you're really into football statistics, you're not going to really know much about that. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, most people don't really care about those numbers, but those numbers matter too, because those are some of the things that people don't see as much unless you're solely focused on watching him and nobody else on the defense. But he does a lot of the stuff that people don't see. So I'm really opposed to not picking up his 5th-year option. I think he's too good for that, especially with how much cap space we have. It's not like we're restricted on cap space and we're, trying to find any little room to squeeze out dollar bills to, give to our players. We've got 60, 70 million left. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I think in 2022, I think as of now, it is estimated that the New York Jets will have somewhere around 50 million. So definitely, we're going to have some money to spend and kind of play with, but we've got to attack certain spots. And that leads me to my next question for you, because there's Jets fans out there, and I've had conversations with multiple, people that say, hey, look, the Jets do not need to be worried about pass rush. We got Lawson coming back this season or next season. He's going to be out there. All we got to do now is we got to focus on other spots. There's been people that have talked about, hey, we need to take a safety. We need to be taking corners. We don't need to worry about pass rush and stuff like that. We got Lawson. What do you say to those people? Do you agree with that mindset and thought process?
Not really. I think in the draft at number 4, if Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau is there, I'm 100% taking one of those 2 players. I know you talk about Tyler Linderbaum at 4, and to me, I'd be fine taking him at 10. I think 4 is still a little bit too high, but we can go back and forth on that in a little bit. Okay. But if Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau is there at 4, I'm 100% taking one of them. Yeah. But outside of that, I really feel like the other pass rushers who are there are not worth taking in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people are George Karlaftis people. They like him a lot.
Yes.
David Ajabo, whoever it is. I'm really not big on either of them, to be honest. I'm sure, they're good players and they're going to produce in the NFL, but I think we can find better value at number 10. And in free agency, I know you talked about Hassan Riddick. I think that would be a solid pickup because he gets the sacks, not as much as the pressures as much as Carl Lawson does, but he does finish a lot of the time when he does get the pressure and get those sacks. So I wouldn't be opposed to that, but not a big fan of the pass rushing free agency group that we have this year, but in free agency that is. But if the right guy is there for the right price, then definitely not opposed to that. And like I said, with Hutchinson and Thibodeau, if they're there at 4, I think we definitely gotta end in that card immediately.
Yeah. Would you be against the New York Jets, just talking about free agency, would you be against the New York Jets taking a veteran like Jerry Hughes in free agency, maybe bringing him in for a 1-year deal to kind of add him as a veteran pass rusher to this rotation? Would you be all right with that?
Again, it depends on the price because, I'm not exactly sure how old he is, but I know he's not, on the
he's no
younger
spring
side
chicken.
of the NFL. He's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So, for the right price, I wouldn't be opposed to it, I guess, but I don't think we should be overpaying for people who are not going to be part of the long-term future, I think, because, if he's in his early 30s or whatever it is, that's not really what this team is about right now. We're trying to find younger talent because we're still a rebuilding team. We're not contending like the Rams who can just go get Von Miller and he fits in perfectly for that 1 year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's like a, $4, $5, $6 million, sure. But if he's asking for, in the double-digit millions for 1 year, I'm going to have to say no on that one.
Okay. So when you look at the first round, there's some Jets fans that are looking and saying, hey, like you said as well, if Kayvon Thibodeau is there, you take him. Could you see the New York Jets taking 2 pass rushers in the first round? Because there's another guy, Jermaine Johnson, and his name is flying up the board all of a sudden. I know you probably seen it as well. Give me your thoughts on him, and could you see the New York Jets taking 2 pass rushers? If Kayvon Thibodeau is there at 4, could you see them taking 2 pass rushers in the first?
I could not see them taking 2 pass rushers in the first round. I think 4 is where we're really going to be looking for one. But if Hutchinson and Thibodeau are off the board at 4, I think our mindset immediately goes to either tackle/guard, whether you consider Evan Neal or Ken McQuanu a tackle or a guard, or corner of Derek Stingley, or maybe if they consider Kyle Hamilton, then it goes there. But I think if it's not going to be edge at 4 when both of those guys are gone, it's going to either be a tackle or a corner is how I'm thinking of it right now. And if we don't get the edge at 4, I really just don't see us taking the edge at 10. I don't think the right value is there. I think there's much better players at other positions of need at 10 than an edge rusher like Jermaine Johnson, because he's a good player, but he's not worth the 10th overall pick in my eyes.
Yeah. When you look at there's another guy as well, Boye Mafe, that really has his name is ringing bells as well. He's a guy that had big performance at the Senior Bowl. Where do you think that he could end up going, and do you think the New York Jets could end up taking him at 10?
To be honest, I really don't know much about him. I'm not really a guy who watches a lot of college film and stuff, but I do like to listen to what some experts have to say about the top guys. So I really don't know much about him, but what I do know is that there's pretty much zero chance he gets taken at pick 10. I think he's, if anything, a late first round pick. I mean, maybe if he falls to the second round and we have 2 early picks in the second round, so maybe we get him there, but there's pretty much zero chance in my eyes that we take him at 10.
Okay. There's just a lot of people talking about him left and right. I've seen his name, up pretty high now with everything that's going on. So when you look at this class, when you look at the draft, we just had a discussion a second ago. You said you wanted to kind of get into it. There's a lot of people as well saying, hey, safety needs to be addressed. Safety needs to be addressed. Safety needs to be addressed. Are you a guy that would take a Hamilton at 4? Is that something that you would be interested in?
I would not take him at 4, but if he falls to 10, I'm taking him at 10, unless somebody like Thibodeau or Neal or Ekwonu or Hutchinson makes a drastic fall to 10. Then obviously one of those 4 is going to be the guy at 10. But if Hamilton's sitting there at 10, I would strongly consider it, because at the end of the day, we need good players on this football team. We don't, obviously safety is not the biggest need in the world, but we need playmakers on this football team. Every good contending team has playmakers on both sides of the ball, whether it's at the pass rush position, whether it's at corner, whether it's at middle linebacker. They have people who can roam around the field and make plays no matter what's going on. And he can do just that. So while I think 4 is too high for him, at least for us, I could see the Lions or Texans taking him, and I hope one of them do, because that makes our lives a bit easier. But I would not be opposed to taking him at 10 whatsoever. I think that's phenomenal value for a fantastic playmaker.
Yeah. Okay. So my final question for you, Jacob, because you've been bringing the heat, man, is, man, I just watched the Bengals compete in the Super Bowl, dude. How long do you think it's going to take for the New York Jets to be that team that's making that push in the playoffs, to being a team that's a contender? How long from now do you think it's going to take, Jacob?
Yeah, I'll answer this one. I want to ask you one question too, because I'm sort of curious about this from your stance. But I think, until we're a playoff contender, I could maybe see us making a wild card push this year if everything goes right.
Okay.
But realistically, I think this year is going to get us more into that, if you watch the NBA, more in like that play-in type of range, where next year I think is when we become more of a wild card team. I think that would be, a safe bet to say that next year we should be making a wild card push. Not even saying division yet, because the Bills are a very good team, but at least making a wild card push and being considered a wild card team by the start of next season, not this upcoming one, but the one after that. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And the question I've got for you is, considering our team right now, and I know you're big on Tyler Linderbaum, and we need to get interior offensive linemen, but hypothetically, obviously this is never going to happen, but if Quentin Nelson, Devontae Adams, TJ Watt, and Jalen Ramsey are all available right now, and you can take one of them to add to the team, who are you taking?
Pay attention. Pay attention to Jacob. Everybody pay attention to Jacob and what he just tried to do. This is the craziest question ever. I'm taking Quentin Nelson. He is unbelievable. I'm taking Quentin Nelson.
You're taking Quentin Nelson over TJ Watt?
Dude, TJ Watt is definitely going to be there in my mind as well. With Quentin, when you look at the needs of the team, if you look at everything else that we have, TJ Watt would definitely be a guy that'd be up there too. But dude, Quentin Nelson is so unbelievable. Like, do you literally see what the Colts do? They just run left.
Oh no, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, they literally. He's just like, dude. I've watched. We all Jets fans and everything, but dude, I've watched him for so. I thought he was so phenomenal coming out, dude. You just run left, and everything just opens up over there. Of course, T.J. Watt would be a guy that I would look at too. This is a fictional question. This would never happen. But
there's no wrong answer.
Dude,
there's no wrong answer.
I mean, he is a generational guard. He's one of. Dude, listen, I love Quentin Nelson for those of you, and he played for a team. I don't even want to talk about where he was at in college, but
we know.
Let me tell you, if he didn't play for that disgusting team, let me tell you, dude, did you see him manhandle our defensive line when we played him? He literally just like picked the guy up, and it was just a hole over there. Jonathan Taylor was just running for forever, and there was nothing we could do. Can you imagine what Michael Carter would look like running behind him? Oh, my God. Oh!
And the sad thing is that Jonathan Taylor touchdown run in the third quarter that put him over like 200 rushing yards wasn't even at that side. It was like the right side of the field, too, dude, where he wasn't even involved, really. So. And
he plays. He doesn't get hurt very often. He plays. Even when he is hurt, he was injured against us and still manhandled us. Quentin Nelson is just unbelievable. I'm telling you, I'm taking him. I'll take him. T.J. Watt is phenomenal, but Quentin Nelson's been doing it for so long. He's just phenomenal. So. Listen, Jacob, I got to get back to these lines, man. Your questions is crazy. Salutes to you. I want to thank you. Thank you for
Sometimes you
calling.
gotta just have fun with the questions.
Absolutely. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
All right, you too.
All right, have a good one. Listen, Jacob calling in, man. Listen, man, Quentin Nelson. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise, man. Just run left. Don't even worry about it. Whatever play you call, it's going to work. You're running behind Quentin Nelson. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers, and we're having a lot of fun. Next, I'm going to my guy, Steve, and then we'll be coming to you right after that. Steve, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in tonight, my friend. Listen, Steve, we are talking Jets defensive line, talking about a lot of things we got going on here, the need for pass rush. When you look at Quentin Williams, man, what is your assessment of him after what we saw this season? Where do you feel he's at? Do you feel he's lived up to that high draft pick ranking?
Hey, Joe. Well, first off, thank you again for having me on the show tonight. So obviously now I know that before we start talking about, situations with the team, the one thing I'll just tell you this right now, after the Super Bowl, on Sunday night, the 2021 season officially came to an end. And with this announcement, the 2022 New York Jets season officially begins. So now when you look at this situation, I don't think Quentin Williams is really up there at the top alignment. But the thing is, though, this is now going to be year 4, and he does have to prove himself this year. So I'm not really so sure if he's really up there just yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are you a guy that's looking and saying, hey, the New York Jets should pick up that 5th-year option, or are you against it?
Joe, right now I can't say right now, but if I wouldn't pick it up just yet.
Okay.
I would wait until to see what happens with him in year 4, and then see going forward. Seeing where he's at.
Okay. Look, and you're Steve. Let me tell you something. I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, that's a crazy take." You're not alone. There are quite a bit of analysts and fans as well that are saying, listen, don't pick up that 5th-year option. He has not proved enough. But there's things that the New York Jets could do after. If you don't pick up that 5th-year option, you could end up signing him, if he performs. So I respect that take. I respect that there, Steve. Now, when you look at the rest of the defensive line, Carl Lawson's a guy coming off that torn Achilles. What are your expectations for him next season? Do you think he'll be able to come back and be that big-time pass rusher that we need him to be?
No, I think he will because, he did suffer the injury back in August. And I remember it was back in December when he did announce on his Twitter that he was moving in the right direction. I think he'll be ready to go by the spring and even before training camp starts. Mm-hmm. And I think he will be back at the level where we want him to be. But, Joe, I do agree with you. The biggest thing that the Jets do need in this offseason on the defense is getting a pass rusher. Because listen, I know we have Carl Lawson, but we got to get at least another guy. Because the thing is, unfortunately, is the New York Jets haven't really had an outstanding pass rusher since John Abraham. Yeah. And we need a pass rusher. Because the thing is that's been another one of the reasons why the Jets have not been successful the last few years is because we don't have a pass rusher for our team. We need that pass rusher. And I mean, obviously, when you look at the Jets on the offensive side of the ball, I do agree. I think the biggest need that we need on the offense right now to start this offseason is we got to get someone either in the draft or in free agency to protect Zach Wilson. Because the problem is, I want to see a quarterback on the New York Jets finish a full season. I don't want to see my quarterback getting hurt and then missing a couple of games. Because remember, last year we lost Zach Wilson for a few games because of the injury he had against New England with the PCL injury.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it wasn't torn, which was good because if it got torn, Wilson's season would have been done.
Yeah.
But now, because the thing is, Joe, when I look at also the thing with the draft when the Jets are at number 4, and listen, I would love the pass rusher from Oregon, and I would especially love the pass rusher from Michigan and Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, I think one of those players is going to go between the first 3 of the draft. But the thing is, I wouldn't mind getting an offensive lineman at number 4 if Evan Neal is there as well, because we got to find someone to protect. Listen, the Jets, and for Jets fans who are saying, "Oh, we need to get a safety at number 4," listen, I'm not saying Kyle Hamilton is not a good player. I think he is a phenomenal player, and he's got good range, good speed. But let me tell you something right now. You do not pick a safety at number 4. I will repeat. You do not pick a safety at number 4, because even if he has great talent, you still don't pick him at number 4. A safety does not win you football games.
Ooh.
It is your pass rusher and your offensive line that protects your quarterback.
Steve bringing the heat, man. Hold on. Ooh, Steve, that was a hot one, man. Listen, you were talking about the draft, and I mean, you were really bringing the heat right there. So say Kayvon Thibodeau is there at 4, we take him. Could you see the New York Jets taking another pass rusher at 10? Could you see that happening?
It depends on who is available on the board, Joe, because there are rumors about that. What some Jets fans think that they should do at number 10 is get Zach Wilson a weapon, and that's why I've been hearing about maybe getting the guy Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, who is a great receiver too, who's supposed to be one of the top receivers in the draft. Because if we could get a top receiver in the draft, I wouldn't mind that at number 10 either, because there was the mock draft that did come out. I mean, Joe, would you be okay with taking a receiver at number 10?
Yeah, there's guys out there. There's a guy from USC, Drake London. I don't know if anybody knows him, but he's really good. And
I know you.
know
No, I heard.
Here we go.
You know I'm just saying that he's out there.
I know he's your boy from USC.
Whoa. Wait a second, Steve. Wait a second, Steve. Now, it's not about him being my boy. He's just that damn good. You know what I'm saying? He's just that damn good. I mean, what do you want from me, Steve? I'm telling you the truth here.
What more do you want from me?
Just being honest. All right? When you got a guy that can play, that can go up and get the football, be a big target for a young quarterback like Zach Wilson, I'm just saying. Red zone target. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying, though, Steve. But continue on.
Yeah, I know. No, listen. Drake London, I think Drake London is a phenomenal talent too. But I will say this: if let's say Kyle Hamilton is still on the board, and if he is at number 10, I wouldn't mind taking him at 10, but I would not take him at number 4.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So my final question for you, Steve.
No, and listen. I understand. Hang on, Joe. I understand that we do need help at the safety position in our defense, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Marcus May, if we're going to re-sign him or not. I don't know. I don't think we will, but we'll see what happens going down the road. But the thing is, Joe, the one thing that has to happen first is free agency. Hey, and listen, the Jets could get 2 safeties in free agency, and then we wouldn't have to worry about drafting Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. If let's say we get 2 safeties in free agency, because I did hear that the Jets are very, very high on a couple of players. The guy from the Saints, Marcus Williams, I know is one of them. Yep. And then the other guy just from the Bengals, Jesse Bates is another one that I heard too. So, I mean, listen, we're going to see what happens by the time with the middle of March goes. So, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, you talking that talk, like I said as well. Free agency could be where we actually target the safety position. I know a lot of people are worried about that, but like you said as well, Marcus Williams is a guy the New York Jets can end up taking there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But my final question for you, Steve, before I let you go is, when you look at the Jets, we just saw the Bengals competing in the Super Bowl. We've seen all the issues with the Bengals for years. Now they're back into respectability. When do you think the New York Jets will get their time to shine? How far away do you think the New York Jets are from competing, from being a top-tier competitive team in this league? How long? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? How far away do you think it'll be?
I'm not gonna say right now how many years it's going to be, Joe. I mean, listen.
Well, that's the question, Steve. That's kind of the question. How many years? Do you think we're 2 years away, 3 years away?
I would say, like, if things continue to go in the right direction, I'd say 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
But you know something, Joe? Every year, Joe, is totally different. I mean, listen, the Bengals were one of the biggest Cinderella teams that happened this year. And I got to tell you something right now. Not only did the Bengals just make the Super Bowl this past year, they are a team that is heading into the right direction in the future. Like, I think they've got one of the brightest futures in the AFC as of right now. The thing is, you know, they've already got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow. You know, they got him Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all those players that they have. You know something, Joe? Listen. I'm not saying that the Jets have to be like the Cincinnati Bengals. They have to be the New York Jets and win games. You know, they got to take this at least 1 year at a time. And you know, listen, we're gonna see what happens in another month with free agency. But the one last thing I just want to say is, before you let me go, you know, a huge congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams of winning the Super Bowl this past Sunday. But now it's time. It's now time for the off season to begin. And you know, let's see. Hopefully, things will continue to go in the right direction. You know, with Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh building this team.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. You brought the heat, man. Yeah. Listen, I want to thank Steve for calling in. He always brings the heat. This guy's got takes. You know what I'm saying? Steve knows his thing, so salute to Steve. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Please give the stream a thumbs up as well if you have not already. And also subscribe if you have not subscribed. You know what I'm saying? And hit that notification bell so when I post content, y'all will be in the know. Next, we're going to my guy, Venom G's, okay? We going to Venom. Listen, for those of y'all that do not know, don't play with Venom. You want to know why? He's a savage. He's a savage. A damn savage. Salutes to you, Venom.
Yo.
Salutes, man.
What's happening, brothers?
What's going on, man? We sitting here, we talking Jets. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot to discuss. You know, you look at this defensive line. We've been talking about it all night. Dude, give me your analysis on Quentin Williams after what we saw this season. What do you think about him? What is your thought process about him at this point? Has he lived up to that third overall pick hype?
Man, Joe, I think what's happening with Quentin is the same thing that's happening with Zach. When you don't put pieces together, you see a weakness in players. So if you have what most people are doing now is putting two people on Quentin and then singling everybody else around him. So when you have 5 offensive linemen and then only 4 defensive linemen, they double Quentin, push him around, stuff like that. And sometimes he has some good moves, but they're not putting enough pieces around him. I think this year he'll step up a little bit more, but I want them to beef up that defensive line too. And I don't even know why they paid JFM all that money, man.
Talk about it, because that's where I was going to go with you next.
Go ahead. I don't think his production matches the money they paid him, but they see something in him we don't. I would have held that money on, held on to that money and just give it to a free agent instead of paying him all that money. Because when you give a player that much money, you have to produce, man. You just can't. When you pay a player like that, you have to apply pressure so Quentin could get free, or you have to have some type of some type of status on the field. You just can't be another number on the field. And that's what JFM is to me, man. He's just another number. Quentin is the dog. Ooh. And they got to supply other dogs around him. And I think I like Carl Lawson. I would like to see them go with Dante Flowers. On the other, you got to put somebody around him, just like how they did with the Rams. And Sunday, you saw it. You saw how Von Miller was getting off this edge, and the interior off defensive line was coming through. So 99, Aaron Donald's a beast, man. And I see Quentin, if you put pieces around him, he could probably take on some of that type of stature coming down the middle, because he's always in the middle. He's always pushing it back. So he has the ability to do so. They just got to put the pieces around him.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean,
and we saw the same thing. We saw the same thing in Cincinnati when they had Shaq Barrett, and then he went to Tampa Bay and he had the 22 sack year. Mm-hmm. It's all about the pieces you have around him. You put him beside JPP, and then you see him flourish. So they have to get pieces around him and Zach so they can start seeing their potential. Yeah. Just like you were saying with Sam Darnold. You can't have these people. There's no quarterback in this league without an offensive lineman that can make things work. We saw that last year in the playoffs with
Patrick Mahomes against the Bucs. Yep.
We saw him, and he couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't. He couldn't even throw and look down the field. He was running for his life. Mm-hmm. Even you saw it this year with Joe Burrow without a line. Look at the last play without that line. With that line being stacked, the outcome would have been different. So that offensive line, you got to secure that. Look at what happened with RG3 when he didn't have an offensive lineman. He's running for his life. Look at what's happening with Lamar Jackson right now. He's running for his life. He's out. These are things where you see these teams and these quarterbacks shorten their lifespan when you see them running out there, running for their life. We don't want Dak to be on the same Joe Burrow train where he get hurt the first season. He's hurt again. So we don't want Zach to do that. I want to see him healthy for a whole full season. So I'm all on what you want, Joe. Is just building that offensive line and getting the pass rusher, things like that first.
Yeah. No, I mean you're talking facts right now. You brought up John Franklin Myers, and like you said, early in the season, I'll tell you what, he was showing some flashes, and then it was just kind of dead down the stretch, and we didn't get much of anything else. So I'm hoping that he's able to kind of get it together. Yeah. Like you said as well, there's guys that needed to be added, because I think he'd be better just kind of within the rotation. He's not the ipso facto kind of guy. And so for me, Hassan Riddick is a guy that I look at that I'm like, bro, if he's out there, the New York Jets need to be after him. Are you in agreement with that, man? Do you think that he's a guy that the Jets should target?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think right now through this draft, they have to build on the defense, and then on free agency, build through the defense, and then our offense in the draft, man. I think that's the way to go.
That's a fact.
If you want to go, I'm get a safety. If you're going with Jesse Bates, get him. If you're going with somebody that's a lesser statue but has a high football IQ, I'll deal with that. But it has to be somebody that's in the same range of a Marcus May, that can come down, play many positions, have a high IQ, man. Mm-hmm. But I'm all in you with Riddick, man. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him in a Jets uniform.
Yeah. Now, another guy that and there's a couple other guys out there that's going to be out there too, but I'm looking at guys like Jerry Hughes, right? He's a veteran. He's no spring chicken. But would you be against?
Yeah, I know.
Would you be against the New York Jets bringing him in for maybe a 1-year deal just to help out within the rotation as a pass rusher?
No, I think we need that. I think we need that. We need somebody in there that has experience, especially if you're going to draft a rookie pass rusher. Mm-hmm. You definitely need somebody with experience in there to show them the ropes, show them what they're doing wrong, and improve them. So I think the best way you could do it is just showing them and teaching them and letting them see what they've done wrong. And a veteran will probably take them under the wing, show them some moves and things like that. I have no problem with a 1-year deal $8 million, something like that. And I think that's the way we should go, is get some veterans in to show these rookies that's coming in how to be professionals and also how to play their position. And just take a little, give them some time where they could take a breather, come back in. So I think that's definitely the right way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking fact now.
I don't want nobody to. I don't want to get somebody that's 25 and pay them $50 million. You know, I don't want to do something like that. But I think we should get people that's in the $20 to $30 million range if they're going to be multi-year contracts. But and they're going to have to be young. But right now, I wouldn't mind getting veterans and letting them show the rookies what they have to do this year.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Now, going back,
even
go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought. Go ahead.
Go on, Joe.
Yeah. So even
now,
talking about,
I was just saying, even people.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I would say even me. I'm thinking about just from the scheme. I think it's Lakin from San Francisco, the guard. I think I wouldn't even mind having him come over and just give him a 2-year contract for either 20, 25 million, something like that, just so he knows the system, he knows the offense, he knows how to move it and how it's supposed to be ran. So I think that's the most important piece is the center. If you have somebody that's a center that can tell, yo, this is the right, we run into the right this time, we're blocking to the right this time, let's get every play in check and call all the plays and let them know, and it makes it easier on Zach. So I wouldn't mind having somebody from San Francisco come over, a veteran that's you know, on the tail end of their career, that's ready to, you know, to step in, that's on their way out in their situation already.
Yeah. No, listen, I hear you there. That's something that we could do along the offensive line. But going back to the defensive line, because you gave so many great takes there, there's a lot of Jets fans that are looking at Sheldon Rankins right now, and they're saying, listen, you want to talk about JFM, there's a lot of people that really don't like him. There's a lot of people that are saying that they would like to see the New York Jets cut him. Now, if they do cut him, I think they save like $5.4 million on the cap. You know what I'm saying? That's something that can be utilized in free agency. What are your thoughts on Sheldon Rankins and his performance on the season? And would he be a guy that you think the New York Jets should move on from?
No, I think you should keep him because he gave, you know, with him and Quentin in the middle, I think it solidifies it a little bit more than Fadakasi. I'd rather, you know, get rid of Fadakasi and keep Rankins in, because Rankins, even though it's not on the stat board, you saw him in the backfield a lot. He knows how to, his IQ is so vast that he knows, okay, this is a toss to the outside. So even if it wasn't on the stat sheet, even the hurries, he's taking some of the double teams from Quentin so he could get a sack here or he could get in the backfield. So I think Rankins is a good veteran to keep in. If you're paying him $4 million, keep that on the books for this year and let go of Fadakasi. I don't know, like you said, in the run game, getting run on, so the whole defense was getting ran on. So I don't know if he would be that much of a help. I'd rather, you know, let him go and then keep Rankins.
Yeah. So when you look at the draft, because you talked about the draft quite a bit as well, when we're looking at the pass rushers in the draft, I know we haven't discussed like a guy like Thibodeau. If Kayvon Thibodeau is there at 4, are you taking him? Do you have any reservations? Because there's some Jets fans now that are saying that they wouldn't take him at 4. We've had people call in and say that they wouldn't take him at 4. What are your thoughts on that, man? Is he a guy that you would take it for if he slides there?
Joe, I would give you the ticket to put his name on it to take up there, man.
I'll run up there so fast.
Yo,
man.
we haven't had.
It's me with the tickets. It's me with the tickets.
Phenomenal, man. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. Yeah. And I'm telling you, his IQ he has a high football IQ as well too. And this dude, he's like a young Von Miller. His bend off the edge is so good. I wouldn't hesitate. Any other position, I wouldn't even deal with at 4. If they say safety, I'm going. If it's Thibodeau's there, okay, cool. If he's not there, going offensive lineman. So Thibodeau, I would run from my house. Get the Rockefeller Center in the building with I'm telling you, this is Thibodeau. If he's there, you have to take him, man. Yeah. He's and his youth and Carl Lawson on the other side. That would be that would be nasty.
Yeah,
that would be nasty. And we see every place else. We see how the dude from Washington is playing.
Yeah.
In his second year, we see how the Barrow kid is. I think it's Barrow on San Francisco. The young kid in his second year. Man, these pass rushes are looking amazing, man.
Yeah.
This is the pass rushes of old.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind. I would take Thibodeau in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So when you look at the 10th pick as well, let's say Thibodeau's there at 4, could you see the New York Jets taking another pass rusher at 10?
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even do it. If I'm taking another pass rush, it's going to be in the later rounds.
Okay.
I'll probably get somebody to protect that and at that 10 spot. Okay. I'm going offensive line at 10. And probably tight end in the second, and maybe another offensive line minute on with the second pick in the second round.
Okay.
But I'm going heavy on offensive line. I'm probably going to do what the Cincinnati Bengals are going to do is just secure up that O-line.
Yeah.
And make sure Zach has enough time. We did a disservice to Sam. We did a disservice to Zach his first year. We gotta make sure. And I know Joe is like, dang, I screwed this up, so I gotta make it right. And I know he will.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
because he told Sam's parents,
yeah.
I'm gonna make sure your son don't get killed.
Yeah.
He damn near dead in the water in Carolina right now.
Well, I mean, he's not getting killed here. He did say he was gonna give him weapons, to surround him with weapons, but he did. He sent his ass to Carolina.
Yeah, and even
he sent him straight to Carolina, man.
Even speaking about Carolina, even that if we talking about offensive weapons, I don't think there's probably one better than that DJ Shark kid from the Panthers, man. If we were looking for a wide receiver, that kid is a beast, man. Catches everything that's thrown to him.
Yeah.
Man, I know him and Sam looked good the first 6 games, man. I wouldn't hesitate pulling the trigger on DJ Sharp, man.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. There's rumors, and I didn't want to really talk about. There's rumors about Robbie Anderson coming back to the Jets and how he feels like there's unfinished business. That's flowing, that's kind of floating out there. But I'm just like, man, come on. Like I don't know.
I know, but
I don't know. Man. I don't know about this.
I understand you feel like you got unfinished business, man. A girl break up with me, I'm not going back and say, hey.
Talk to him, Venom. Venom, talk to him. Hold on, Venom. Venom, talk to them. Talk to them. Talk to them, Venom.
What more do you want from me?
Venom said, I'm putting it down.
I know.
Either you in or you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I know for a fact that kid DJ Shaw over there in Carolina, Robbie, DJ Shaw, he's something else, man. Yeah. And I think that would be a great addition to the wide receiver room. And I hope they keep this kid Mims, man, and see what. Hopefully he's in the playbook now while we're talking.
Venom.
And getting to learn that.
Now you was doing good before you brought up Mims. Now, Venom, come on now. I'ma keep it real with you. Okay?
I go from herding to Mims.
I'ma keep it real with you. Okay, this between me and you. Okay, this just between me. Ain't nobody else. This is between me and you. I'ma keep it real. All right, now listen. I like Mims too. You know what I'm saying? You like Mims. I like him too. But the boy don't know the playbook. And when we were down like 3-4 wide receivers, we still ain't see that man on the field. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that It ain't looking good for him. I'm just saying it ain't looking good for him. You know? I ain't the one trying to put it out there. I'm just saying he ain't playing. You know? You know what I'm saying? There was a dude off the practice. There was a dude we picked off the street. I think it was Tariq Black, who literally came into the game. We were down a ton of wide receivers. Bro had more targets and catches and yards than Denzel Mims. And Denzel been on the damn team the entire year. Bruh, I don't think he's gonna be here next year. I'm sorry, I just don't. I just don't. I want him to.
I don't think so either, man.
But
I know, and we've been talking about Barrios, man. He's looking like he may be hitting a free agent because he's requesting this big money. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, you know, and everybody's, and this is the thing that Joe Douglas doesn't get, I guess, is the way you treat people, it comes back full circle. They know you don't play for people that stay there and be homegrown with you. Yeah. Why the hell I'm going to stay here for and go negotiate with you, and you ain't pay nobody. You ain't pay Robbie. The only person you paid was JFM.
Yep.
That money could have came to Barrios, man. This is a crazy organization. Hopefully they get this right, man. Hopefully they get this thing right.
But if you're looking at Barrios, and I hear you, Venom, but if you're looking at Barrios, what is the max that you're even willing to give him? Because there's a lot of talk that he wants $9 million per. Are you willing to do that? God. Talk to me.
Jeez.
Talk to me.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let him walk, man. I'm gonna let him walk, man. Now,
bruh,
you know what?
You was just on Joe Douglas' back, and then I asked you, and you like, yeah, I'll let him go ahead. He can hit the door. I ain't tripping.
You know, I'll give him up and just get Cordell Patterson, man, somebody that killed us on the Falcons. I'll get him. That does the same thing that Barrios does, and you can play fullback, halfback, and then catch the ball out the backfield. So, you know, and put him at a wide receiver, and he's still cooked. So I'd rather say, all right, get out of here. We'll bring in Patterson and let him, you know, do everything he was doing. So, I'll be up there with Joe. I'll be up there with Joe Douglas.
All right, so Vito, my final question.
Packing Barrios bags, man.
My final question for you before I let you go, bro. When you look at the Bengals, bro, they're competing there in the Super Bowl. That was a franchise that for years looked like it was just the blind leading the blind over there, right? Just a bunch of clown nonsense going on. Well, they're in the Super Bowl. I think, you know, if they can make it, there's no excuses anymore. So when you look at the Jets, man, how long do you realistically think it's going to be before we're competing at a really high level, before we're making those playoff pushes and hopefully one day, you know, being in that Super Bowl? How long do you think it's going to be? A year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
This year
50?
we're going to make a push. I think
you heard that.
I think this year we'll make a push. We'll make a push, but I think give us 2 years because look at the Bengals, man. What they did was just add through free agents, man. Their defense, they solidified it through the free agency, and they got the pass rushes this year. Last year they didn't have, so they did a lot of good things, man, in a short amount of time. Only thing they didn't do was the offensive line part of it.
Yep.
And I guarantee they're going to address that this year. So I think, you know, I think they're going to be in the running for a long time, and I think we have 2 years before we're right there with them competing, and with the Bills and the Patriots and stuff like that. I just have a feeling that the Patriots are not going to be as good next year with Josh McDaniels gone. So I want to see who they're going to put at that offense play caller.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you know, the Patriots always find a way. I'll tell you that. The Patriots always find a way, and I can't stand them, just like a lot of people. I'm being honest. I've told people this for years. Every single year, people be like, oh, the Patriots are trash. Oh, they're not. And they always end up somewhere in the playoffs. competing. This year, we literally, the Patriots, this is a down year. They smashed us both games. They won a game where Mac Jones, I don't even think, threw a pass. It was something like they just ran all game. He didn't even throw much at all. Like, they just find ways. You know what I'm saying? They just find ways.
The fact that, and they know how to do it.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we're missing players here. Okay, let's spend $100 million getting these tight ends.
Facts.
Get some. They even gave away Gilmore, and still they don't care. They replace you like you're nothing and say, yo, we'll get it done with whoever else we have out here. Their offensive line is all beast, so they got it all together, man.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And they have changeable pieces where they could swap them in and out. And I don't know how they find these players. They could find them in the 7th and 6th rounds.
Dude, they've been doing that for so long. They took players that were on. Remember Danny Woodhead? Yeah. He used to be a Jet. Danny Woodhead was here. We cut him. They went and picked him up, and he just went over there and just lit us up every time we play. I mean, that's just what they do, man. That's just what they do. But hopefully,
they
this
got
upcoming
the big
season,
contract from the Chargers. They got the big contract. Yeah.
Man, I'm hoping this season, we'll be able to blast them because they crushed us last year and jacked up Zach's PCL as well. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Why with an offensive line, everybody keeps talking defense, safeties. Mm-hmm. You can't see this guy keep getting hit like this, and the offensive lineman can't even. They just let him by. Like, all right, go on, get him, sack him, and there he goes. He's our quarterback, and nobody even comes to his defense. Even look at Joe Barrow. Once they hit him out of bounds, Aaron Donald pushed him out of bounds. The whole team jumped on him.
Yeah.
We don't have nothing like that here. We don't have those monsters. So we need to get some guys like that. Like, don't touch my quarterback. Don't touch my running back. You gotta get those guys that's built like that.
Yep.
And they have to build that culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Venom, I want to thank you for calling in, bro. This has been a phenomenal call. Next time I have a show, Venom, I want to hear from you, bro.
Definitely, bro. You know it.
Absolutely.
Anything, all the Savages.
Salutes.
Have a good one. Joe, have a good one. I'm out.
All right, peace. Listen, Venom knows what he be talking about, bro. Listen, salutes to Venom, man. Salutes to him. If I forgot to mention, there was also some coaching changes as well for the New York Jets. Jets assistant coach Jake Moreland moved, and he went to the Broncos. He's going to become their tight end coach. And the Jets also hired Nathaniel Willingham as a defensive assistant. That is, the son of Tyrone Willingham, for those of you that don't know. You know what I'm saying? Former college coach. I'm not going to talk about the college he went to because I can't stand them, but if you know, you know. So salutes to the Jets making those moves. But let me tell you something. This was a hot show. A lot of calls. Salutes to all the Savages as well. Salutes to my guy J.E. in the chat. He says, if Hamilton is Ed Reed, I'm taking him at 4. Ed Reed was a difference maker. I hear a lot of people say that about Hamilton, that he's Ed Reed. I feel like people throw that around a lot. Any good safety, people just say, oh, he's Ed Reed. I remember people were saying Jamal Adams was Ed Reed. I remember that, right? Here's the deal. If you look at the Ravens, I'm not saying that Ed Reed was an unbelievable football player. Let's just get that out the way. Hall of Famer. One of the best players to ever be in the league. But when you look at the Ravens and how they were built defensively, a lot of people forget that the Ravens had all their positions of impact in line so that Ed Reed was able to also go out there and make those plays. It helped him. When you got guys like Jamie Sharper, Peter Boulware, Tony Saragusa up front, when you got McAllister, who's one of the best corners in the league, and he was like, I think he was like 6'2" or 6'3" or something like that. He was a huge corner, huge lanky corner, just out there knocking ball. He was one of the best corners in the league. When you look at how the Ravens were built, that's why they could do some of those things. The Jets are not built like that. The Ravens had a pass rush. We don't have a pass rush, and we're waiting for Carl Lawson to come back to figure out what we're actually going to get from him. We have no pass rush. And there's some people that say that we need a corner as well. There's some Jets fans that still think that we have question marks at corner. I do like Bryce Hall a lot. I think he's a very good corner. But there's so many issues here. So That's why I'm telling people when you talk about taking safeties because they're Ed Reed, wait. Let's start looking at the context of our football team, okay? Because if we can't get any pressure, it doesn't matter, what's going on back there with a guy that you take in the draft. He's going to get burned because you're going to have 30 years to throw the football on us. And we saw that. Again, I remember people telling me that Jamal Adams was the second coming of Ed Reed. And our defense was getting cooked with him. Cooked. Go back and watch the games. It's because we couldn't get after the passer. We didn't have our positions of impact together. Safety is great. Ed Reed, phenomenal. Phenomenal player. But if you look at the current day NFL, you don't need great safeties to win games. If you look at the last time the New York Jets were competing at a high level, when we were at the AFC championship games, Jim Leonard, not some mind-blowing safety. He wasn't a Hall of Fame safety. He was a good safety that knew where he was supposed to be. That was it. Why were we where we were at, right? Why were we in the championship game? It was because our position and impact were together. We had the best corner in the league. He shut down half the field, right? We had a serviceable, good corner on the other side. We also had pass rush that could be manufactured via blitz. That's how we won games, okay? Like, we got to start, doing that. We got to start looking at those things. I get it. But taking a safety in the first round, I don't think would be good for the New York Jets. I just don't think it would be good. So we're going to keep into these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to my guy from North Carolina. He's calling in. Angelo, we'll get to you in a second. Salutes to you. This is my guy from North Carolina. He knows his stuff.
Hey, Joe.
Man, listen, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Let's get into it, okay? Quentin Williams. What is your assessment of him after watching him this season? And if you're the New York Jets, if you're Joe Douglas, are you picking up his fifth-year option to keep him here in 2023?
I think if they do decide to pick it up, I expect the price tag to be a little higher. Probably would Joe be willing to pay. Mm-hmm. But I think we probably have to find up at some point restructuring him, just like C.J. Mosley. Some of these contracts had to be restructured. Mm-hmm. And then we still got that dead, I guess what they call the dead cap, Tremaine Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, some of those contracts, Quincy Enunwa. I wonder what the status of some of those deals are. Hopefully in the next year or so we can get some of that money back.
Yeah, I think Tremaine Johnson's
money. That's a substantial amount.
Yeah, Tremaine Johnson has his stuff has fallen off, I believe. So he's out of here. But if that extension or that fifth-year option, I believe it's $10 million guaranteed, estimated at this point. There are some things that can heighten it up to I think about $16 million. I think if he makes the Pro Bowl, but a lot of that is still again in flux. These are just estimated amounts, from people that are in that cap situation. So $10 million guaranteed. That could be quite a bit. So I know you're like, hey, I don't know about that, but you're not the only person. You're not the only person that's kind of questioning. Hey, can you take that? You're not the only person that is looking at it like that either, because there's a lot of Jets fans that are saying, hey, I wouldn't do it either. So when you look at that situation, right, when you look at what he's done and you question, taking that fifth-year option, there's a lot of Jets fans that look at Carl Lawson and they say, hey, we got a pass rusher in Carl Lawson already. We don't need to target another one in the draft because he's going to be there. We've had people call in and talk about taking a safety over a pass rusher. We've had people say, I don't want to have anything to do with Kayvon Thibodeau. Give me your thoughts on that, on that idea.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
They are wrong because I'm gonna tell you something. They're wrong. They need to rethink that. Carl Lawson's coming off Achilles tendon. I met a guy who had Achilles tendon. He showed me his Achilles tendon. It's a nasty injury. You know what I'm saying? That's like the back of your Achilles tendon. He showed me how it was severed. Yep. And that's some serious stuff. That's worse than the knee. Achilles tendon. So we really don't know what his status is. If he does come back, what condition he's going to be in? How confident is he, pushing off that Achilles tendon and doing the normal activity? And what level is he going to be at when he does return to full strength? Mm-hmm. Is it 80%? We might be able to expect some kind of little drop off, even slight, from the explosive step that he once had. You got to take Kayvon Thibodeau. Let's get it straight. Kayvon Thibodeau is the one player in this entire draft because the quarterback class is usually, the quarterbacks go first, 1 and 2, and then the edge and the O-line, the tackles and so forth. This year, the quarterback class is so weak that you have to take Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's the one player in this draft you have to take him. The Jets are going to look like a fool if he falls to them and they let him go to the Giants. I'm going to be sick. That thing's going to really, really seriously piss me off. And I haven't been pissed off about a draft since Kyle Brady. You know Kyle Brady? They took Kyle Brady over Warren Sapp.
Oh, man.
I was incensed about that nonsense. And I wish I would have been near Rich Coach. I would have slapped the mess out of him for that mess. He's been slapped in his face for that.
Yeah. You
don't take a tight end over a superior elite interior defensive lineman. He went on to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he did.
And that was money. I remember the fans cheering for Warren's name, and I did a little research on him prior to the draft. I didn't realize how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Coming out of the program he came out of, and I guess the Tampa Bay Bucks got it right. He got a Hall of Fame interior defensive lineman, great career, plenty of Pro Bowls, and played to the level that you want a first-round pick to play for. And meanwhile, Kyle Brady faded into obscurity. All he was a blocking tight end, a guy you could have got in the middle round, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's not a Tony Gonzalez. It's not a Rob Gronkowski. It's not even a Mark Bavaro, what he was for the Giants. You know, he can catch the ball a little bit, tremendous blocker, and, he's not to the level of a Mark Bavaro. He wasn't anything. We've got to take Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Man.
That's the one guy in this entire draft class. If you get a chance to take him, you take him, and you never look back.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's stuntifying our interior line is that the edge is not pushing that quarterback to them. The purpose of an edge is to take the edge, force that quarterback up into the pocket. That's where your interior can get to swallow up. People forgot how good the sack exchange was. When Klecko and Gaston in the early, I think about 12 years old. I remember how good they were. That's why Marty Lyons and Abdul Salam could get pressures and get sacks and do some of the stuff they did because of Gaston and Klecko forcing quarterbacks up into the pocket. And the pocket literally collapses. We haven't had that in a long time. I mean, Rex tried to do some things through smoke and mirrors. He was a defensive genius as far as I'm concerned with his corners. He went for the corners to just shut you down where the quarterback couldn't get the quick release. He would be eating the ball, looking for the receivers to come open, and that's when he would blitz, bring the load. He would load to one side and bring the blitz, and that's how he would get to you. We need an edge rusher. If we're going to the Super Bowl, we need edge rushers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm hoping Kayvon Thibodeaux is there, and if it was me, I might even double dip and take Jermaine Johnson, in to come onto the radar.
Jermaine Johnson, talk about it.
A hot name as we get closer and closer to the draft.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he's very good. He's just not as explosive off the ball as Thibodeaux. Thibodeaux's a freak.
Yep.
But Jermaine Johnson, what I see, he looks like he has good technique, and he knows what he's doing, and that's the kind of trait that can translate well to the pros, where he can have a chance to be a good pass rusher in the pros.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can get us 8 sacks, 9 sacks on a good year, and that ain't bad.
Yeah.
And get us some pressures and get us a little something. Because right now we have nothing to speak of. Yeah. We lost Carl Lawson. Bryce Hoff was showing us flashes. He got hurt. I mean, it was just a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never pass up on an edge rusher for a safety or an O-line. If I had a chance to choose between Lawrence Taylor, I met Lawrence Taylor, got his autograph and everything, or Anthony Munoz. Now, he was being a lot of linemen that came out within a decade, all being compared to him very much the way linebackers were being compared to Lawrence Taylor. Now, you had a choice between Munoz and Lawrence Taylor. Who you choosing? Yeah. Lawrence Taylor. Only other position you would take over him because where the league is now. Now, obviously, there's a Lawrence Taylor and Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, John Elway, Lawrence Taylor, Dan Marino. You would, where the league is now and we set up, you would have to go with the quarterback.
Yep. That's
the only other position that you would take over an elite edge rusher. You don't take any other position over an edge rusher, not even an O-line. I'm talking John Hanna. I'm talking Dan Dierdorf. I'm talking Dwight Stevenson. All of these guys in the different line positions were exceptional, about as good as they was. But you cannot take them over an edge rusher. You can't. You can't do that. You have to trust that the board's going to slide you. I'm hearing names like Zion Johnson, Kenyon Green. I'm hearing he may slide down the board. It's not lacking on his part. Kenyon Green is one of the better offensive linemen in this entire draft. But because of the position he plays, because he's a guard, teams might not place as much value on guard like they do offensive tackle. Tackle is the premium position, especially left tackle. Yeah. All the other positions are devalued, especially guard and center.
Is it?
You know what I'm saying?
Is it though? And I hear what you're saying, and you know, you got some takes. I'll tell you what, a left tackle, that's tough for me to get away from. But I understand what you're saying about the current league and the way that it works. You know, because again, that pass rush, that quarterback, and I think tackles for sure, you know, are guys that I would be looking at. But
yeah.
I look at a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, who's a generational center, a guy that you can put in there that's going to absolutely dominate up front. Would you be against the Jets taking him at 4?
Yes. Only if Thibodeau is off the board. If Hutchinson and Thibodeau are gone, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would take the center, and I might even consider taking another O-lineman. Because the Jets need to go on and take this opportunity. If there's an opportunity, the edge rushers are gone. This is an excuse to go on and complete your offensive line. You got Fant, who I think they're going to re-sign. You got Beck and you got Barrett Tucker. What are the weakest positions on this O-line? It's, of course, guard number 1 and arguably center number 2. Center has been just serviceable, but when you look at what the Jets have done over the decades from the 1980s and my teenage years, you remember Joe Fields, Pro Bowl center. He was one of the dominant centers in the conference before Dwight Stevenson came along, you know, of course, took over and became the preeminent center. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Mawai, and, of course, Nick Mangold. The Jets have a rich tradition and history at the center position. They can't let that slip away. They've been passing up on these. I mean, how many years can they keep passing up on these top centers now? They passed up on Creed Humphrey, and then you turn around this year and possibly pass up on Tyler Linderbaum. How many years can you keep passing up on these centers?
Yeah.
I mean, these are Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber centers. And Tyler Linderbaum, I've gotten a chance to take a look at him. People talk about him not being strong enough. He's strong enough now. This is a guy you do not want to get in a fight with. He can kick your butt.
Yeah,
you see what happened to Tristan Wirfs when they got in the wrestling match? Yeah. He took Tristan Wirfs down. He got great big jaws. That's a big man. And he took him down. What it is, because Tyler is short. People get it twisted because they think he's a little short, he's not strong. Yes, he is. Tyler Linderbaum is going to get thicker. He may not be able to get taller, but that man's going to get thicker, and he's going to get strong. You know, a wrestler is strong anyway.
Yep.
They not no tomato can to mess with. No wrestler. And this man, once he get in a pro program, give him 2 or 3 years, he'll be one of the strongest centers in the conference. I would not be surprised, and you won't be able to move him at all. And when he get out on that second level, on your linebackers, he will wipe them out. Man. Just like Kevin Mawai. Remember Kevin Mawai do them linebackers? Tyler Linderbaum, I think, will do worse than that. He will put them to the ground, not only just push them out of the play, he'll put them right on their back with ease.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you talking that talk
you know
now.
What I'm saying?
You talking about the draft and some of the impact that, you know, draft picks can have. But what about some guys in free agency? For me, I'm talking to a guy like Hassan Riddick. For me, is like a guy the New York Jets should absolutely be after. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the more they can do in free agency, that will help, you know, soften the blow when it comes down to the NFL draft, you know. The more they can do there, then they can turn their attention to other positions. If they can address their defensive need, it'll free them up to take offense. And if they can address their offensive need, vice versa. Now, it's been said that this draft class is a stronger defensive draft class. I would have to agree. You know, I can't argue with it. So I'm more of an offensive-minded man now because I realized over the years the rules and the way the league is set up, it's set up to favor offense. When me and you were watching football in the 80s, it was more about running game and defense and have a big, strong O-line. Running was the star. Quarterback wasn't the star. You had the who was it, Franco Harris, the John Riggins, the Earl Campbell, you know, the power backs, and occasionally you had Marcus Allens and those guys. They were your stars. Tony Dorsett, you know, once Starback retired, Tony Dorsett became the star on the Dallas Cowboys. Running back used to be the star. Now quarterback is the star. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? And then now you got this new wave of them in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson and them. It's changed a whole lot. And it's better right now. I think this year the Jets need to add the additional pieces to the offense, plug up the interior O-line, get them another wide receiver to complement
Corey Davis and Elijah Moore.
You know what I'm talking about. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and of course address the tight end position. The tight end position hasn't produced much.
Yeah.
Now they got a chance to do something with that tight end room. I say they got a couple of good free agents, and the draft is loaded.
Yeah,
the draft just doesn't have a Kyle Pitt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's so many guys in the draft, from Likely to Rucker to there's just so many guys. Trey McBride. There's so many guys in the draft. It's insane. So yeah, you're absolutely bringing facts up. The New York Jets need to address the tight end position. So my last question, man, because you're bringing the heat, man. My last question for you, before I let you go, you look at the Bengals. I mean, you've been watching football for years. The Bengals used to be an awful organization.
Oh, yeah.
Now we see them turn it around and get into the Super Bowl. Do you think that this puts more pressure on the New York Jets to finally be in that tier, to really be competing? And how long realistically do you see before the New York Jets are at that level where they're making pushes in the playoffs and competing for Super Bowls? How long do you think it's going to be?
I think they will be strong enough to compete in 2023. I had predicted 2023 was the year I picked for the Jets to make their own fairy tale run. I think they will make a serious run next year. Looking at the curve that they're on and what Joe Douglas has done with this organization, if he stays on his current course, produces a strong draft class, it doesn't have to quite be what the 2021 class is. That might be one of the great draft classes the Jets have ever had. You know, with Elijah Moore and Michael Carter and all of them. That's really exceptional. I think he pretty much hit on pretty much almost all his picks.
Yeah, almost did.
Which is rare. That you almost hit on all your picks. If he can come anywhere near that, let's say get 4 picks out of this draft, 4 picks out of that draft, that's your foundation. That's the only thing they need, just lay the foundation. Then you can get the little lunch pail guys, the Barrios, the Wayne Corbett, the little guys that just work hard, good locker room guys, great attitude, everybody like them, the Mike Whites and them. They have a role in this team as well. It's about chemistry. People be able to work together, cooperate, get along, you know, be on the same course, same goals, and then you see it translate into winning. You know what I'm saying? That's the formula a lot of these other teams, you know, built from the 49ers to the 80s, you know, Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys in the 90s, and we see it with the Patriots again the last 15 years, only till recently. That dynasty finally kind of came down to earth, you know?
Yep.
I think it's possible by next year the Jets will be competing for something.
Okay.
They've only begun to lay the foundation. They're not as far away as I think people think. Obviously, they have more work to do on the defensive side, addressing pass rush, and getting some better safety play offensively, weapons for Zach Wilson, O-line, and that's basically it.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking that talk, man. Listen, studio, give him a hand. Studio audience, please. You know, hey, man. He brought fire. I ain't gonna lie. He did. Yeah. Oh, don't clap too long. Don't clap too. I don't pay y'all for that. Okay, unless it's me. Don't be clapping that long. All right. Let's not do too much. Okay. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. You know, I always love talking to you about this team and about football. You have yourself a good night. All right.
And you too, Joe. And you take care. And it's always a pleasure. And I always appreciate you having me on your platform. And thanks again.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Listen, my guy be calling in from North Carolina. He knows his stuff, man. Guy's a Jets fan through and through. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. We're taking our last caller. It's Angelo. Angelo's calling in. You know what I'm saying? And Angelo knows his stuff as well. Now, Angelo's got some takes, okay? This is a serious Jets fan right here. He knows his stuff. Salutes to you, Angelo. I want to thank you for calling in. Give me your thoughts on Quentin Williams, Angelo. After this season, what are you thinking about him? Has he lived up to being that 3rd overall pick in your mind?
You know what? Probably not. But, you know, those defensive linemen sometimes don't get a lot of the credit. They do a lot of the dirty work. They don't really show up on the stat sheets. Because, you know, every stat sheet I looked at the Jets this season, I try to look for Quentin Williams. And it's just like 1 or 2 tackles, you know. Every now and then he has a sack. And it was kind of confusing because his brother was on the team. So you see Q Williams, and then one of them has 10 tackles, and one of them has 2. I know exactly who has 2. So I think we got to see, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of confusing. So I always had to click on the name and figure it out. But I like to see him with a Carl Lawson, with some pass rush off the edges. I think that opens up to him. Now, I think when we drafted him, we're thinking, okay, we need Aaron Donald. That's the premier player at the position. And then Aaron Donald, that just goes to show you. I don't know if you saw him on that parade with his shirt off. Like, he does not look like a defensive lineman, dude. He is ripped.
No.
I mean, for me, a defensive lineman, those guys always got the belly. But man, he's just a different player. Yeah. And I think with Quentin, if he can fill a role there. Now, again, the problem is he was the number 3 overall pick. So, you got to produce. You got to have 6, 7, 8 sacks a year and tackles for loss. And now with Carl Lawson coming back, and listen, I want to say I did tear my Achilles tendon, or I ruptured it. So, and I think Carl Lawson also ruptured it. And for me, I was playing basketball, and it took about a full year till I was 100%.
Yeah.
I recovered 100%. And I'll tell you, I think it probably took about 7 months for it to fully heal, but I feel like the mental game, like every time I walked upstairs, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is uncomfortable. I don't. Yeah. So right now he's probably healed, and I think it's just the mental aspect of getting through. But the doctors can do everything nowadays, and I'll tell you what, he should be able to come back 100%. What I will tell you is he might be sore. I think his practices will be limited during the week. Yep. And that's how it feels. After a big game, and obviously, I went out and played basketball. I mean, I went out and played 5-on-5 and everything. And I would just say it would just be a little sore maybe the next day or the next couple of days. So I see Carl Lawson recovering 100%. I see him being limited in practices during the week. And if we can have that outside pass rush, that should open up some lanes in the middle. And with Quentin Williams, I think at this point, Joe Douglas, he knows what he's doing. If you can trade bait him and get, a couple second round picks or maybe a third, I don't know, so wow. That's still his decision. But watch now in his season where this next season, Quentin's got to show up if he wants to get paid, right? Okay. So that's what these players do. They show up in the season because they want to get paid. And I see Quentin having a better year this year. Mm-hmm. And especially if we do draft or sign some other pass rush to go along with Carl Lawson, mm-hmm. we're just going to be a matchup nightmare on the defensive front. And I'm not going to say it's going to be led by Quentin Williams, but I think he's going to do a lot of dirty stuff in there. And I think I am a little disappointed in him, because like I said, the last call was talking about a Warren Sapp, so that's what we thought. We thought he was the Warren Sapp. I mean, that guy so high, and we kind of struck out on defensive tackles in the draft. I remember the big one for me was it Dwayne Robinson?
Dwayne Robinson. I was just about to say, yep, Dwayne Robinson. Whoa.
Just so I'm kind of thinking about that with Quentin and the other thing too, like Quentin Williams is like, he's one of the nicest guys in the NFL. Like he's almost like a big kid. He's always got a smile. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of what you want? I think you kind of want someone a little dirty in there and a little mean, but I think Quentin's a great guy, and hopefully he can turn it up this season. And but as far as paying him, I think at this point we have to commit to him. I mean, I think Joe will probably take trade calls, but I think at this point you got to sign the 5th-year option and maybe do a franchise tag, and hopefully he does have a better year. Now, if he has a down year, then you go from there. But, at this point, Fatukasi looks like he's going out. Mm-hmm. We're going to need him, if that's the case. So, and I see us probably draft another defensive lineman in the draft again.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see where that goes because again, that's the main part of the draft right there.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. And I think, again, like you said as well, addressing the pass rush is going to be huge for us. So my final question for you, because we're getting a little short on time, is, when you look at this free agent class, for me, Hassan Riddick is the guy that really stands out to me, and I think the New York Jets need to definitely attack that guy and get him. Is he a guy that you would like to see the Jets target? And if not, what pass rusher do you think is out there for you that you would like to see the New York Jets go after?
Well, I think I read somewhere that Jadeveon Clowney was out there. Yeah. I feel like that's going to be kind of Joe Douglas's kind of thing. Is I hope he doesn't do the whole 1 year $5 million, maybe like with a Dante Fowler, just to kind of see, because that's a risk reward kind of thing, like we did with Gerard Davis, former 1st-round pick. Let's give him 1 year $5 million. It didn't work out, but you know what? It is a low amount of money to risk. and the potential for him to be really good because he was a former first-round pick is really great. But you see what it kind of does to the team. Now we have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So for the free agents, yeah, Hassan Riddick, I think, man, I'm always afraid of big names and big contracts, but we need a big signing with the cornerback position. And Hassan Riddick, yeah, outside linebacker. I mean, like I said, I think we probably need to draft someone to replace C.J. Mosley here in the next couple of years.
Yep.
But I think his attitude and for free agency is you got to go out and reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
You attack, you get whatever position you can of need, and then you focus on what you didn't get in the draft. So with our first pick, we could lean towards Kayvon Thibodeau or one of the offensive linemen, Evan Neal or Ikem Okwonu. I think I don't want to see Joe Douglas saying, okay, well, this guy's going to be here at number 4. So you know what? Let's go ahead and spend money at the cornerback position. You know, this guy's going to be here at 10, you know, with Tyler Linderbaum. So maybe we don't need to sign a center. I think that's not how it is. I think you just go out there, you get the best players available. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Douglas swings some trades on draft day, especially maybe in the first or second round because we have so many assets. And potentially this Jamal Adams trade could turn, because if we trade back off that 10th pick, because I think a lot of teams are looking for a quarterback. And they're going to jump the Redskins. And if we move back with the Steelers or something like that, this Jamal Adams trade could go on forever because actually we trade. I mean, it's just like the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly.
And I really hope, because none of this matters if Zach Wilson is not the guy. I really hope it pans out for Zach. I really hope he can take a step because, you know, he was a young guy too. That's the thing. We're drafting these guys with so much potential like Quentin Williams, but you know, these are young guys, man. They're still in their early 20s. And, you know, guys, very few players come out, especially in the NFL, that play great the very first year.
I mean, listen.
Like I said, I hope we turn the page.
Yeah, I hope we do as well, man. And again, I think surrounding Zach with weapons is definitely going to make a big difference. But like you said as well, making sure that we can attack this pass rush. And I told people trading down from 10, like you said, there's some teams that's going to be looking for quarterbacks in that mid round or in that mid first round, and they're going to want to jump the Redskins because the Redskins are definitely going to be looking to take them. But listen, Angelo, I want to thank you for calling in, man. You really brought the heat tonight, man. I want to thank you, man. Again, we're getting short on time. You have a good night, my friend.
You're welcome, sir. Always good to talk to you, man.
Same to you. You have a good one, man. Listen, Angelo calling in with the heat. He's calling in with the heat. A lot of great takes from Angelo. Salutes to him. Now, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Salutes to Tammy McDaniel in the chat. She says, you can't have the sizzle without the steak. The Jets need to build in the trenches. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. That's a big fact. So now we're going to go ahead and close out the show. We're getting short on time. Salutes to everyone that called in. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. Again, that is YoungJ000. All right. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. Fight on. I'm also on YouTube as well at Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets. Go over there, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give my videos a thumbs up. And if you want to troll me, no issues. We can go back and forth in the comments. You can troll me as well. And as always, people, when you see me in person, okay, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing, no matter what anyone says. I want to thank you folks for listening. Without you people, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to listen and call into the show. You folks are the greatest. Peace. 1 second, folks. Boom, bing, bong. All right, I'm back. Salutes to everybody again for calling in. This was a hot show. Woo, we were short on time. For those of you that do not know or are new to the show, exclamation point links in the chat. That is my link tree. My link tree brings up all the links to my content, my social media, all that stuff. If you want to follow me across my social media content, you click that link. It has all the links there. My Discord is in there as well. Mods in my Discord, you hear me. My Discord link is in there as well. You can go in there and join my Discord. All of my Twitter handles are in there. You can click that. It'll take you straight to my Twitter stuff, my Facebook, all of my social media, all of my YouTube pages. Please follow those as well. Subscribe to all of my YouTube pages and hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. All right. Also, for those of you that are new, I have newer people coming up to me all the time saying, hey, I watch your stuff. How can I get on? Listen, there's a savvy little trick that my older callers like to, older people that watch the show that's been watching me for a little bit. So what you can do is we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Every time I have a show. And again, if you follow me across my social media platforms, you will know when I go live. Also send out YouTube notifications as well. So if you call the show about 10 minutes before the show starts, my line's open. Okay. So my lines will just be open. You call in 10 minutes before, that'll put you ahead of everyone else. That's what a lot of people do. And, it's very effective. So I like to tell people these things, okay, just to let people know. You know what I'm saying? That's something you can do. You just call in. The number's right here. It will always stay the same. So there's the number. If you call in, at 6:50 p.m. Eastern, then guess what? You're probably going to be on pretty early. All you got to do is wait the time until the show starts, and then boom, I come on, I say what I got to say, and then bang, we get into the show. Again, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. We do a lot of stuff on here. We do shows. Clearly, this show's going to be year round. We're going to continue to talk about the New York Jets all throughout the off season into the season. We also watch games together when I can. My schedule is, crazy. So we watch games together when I can. And then after the games, we have live radio shows. We also game on this channel too when I can. My schedule is crazy. We play Street Fighter, Madden, NBA 2K. We do it all. We laugh, we joke, and we have a lot of fun doing that stuff. So, please, again, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and, come join us, just having a lot of fun. We shoot the breeze, and we just, laugh, tell jokes, and all kinds of stuff. We talk about life, all that stuff. So we have a lot of fun on here. Again, my schedule, when it kind of clears up way more than it has in this recent past, and I can definitely get on that, and we have a lot of fun doing that. But again, these radio shows will continue year round. Again, follow me across my social media because I do announce when I'm going to do the shows. I think my next show is going to be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern is going to be my next radio show. We're going to be talking about more things with the New York Jets, and we'll be talking about some of the things we have coming up. So we'll be discussing that Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be discussing that. So again, man, I want to thank everybody for joining me, man. This is the reason why I do the show. I love connecting with everyone and just talking Jets. Even if I don't agree with your takes, hey, let's go back and forth. Let's have a respectful debate. Oh, also, for those of you that call into my show, if you're new, when you call in, I can see you, okay? I had a discussion. I'm not even going to say who it was with because I respect people. But I had a discussion with someone who was like, hey, I call in and I hang up and I call and I hang up, because other people, listen, I can see you when you call in. So when you call in, just be patient. I will get to you. I have to respect everybody's time. When you call in, I'm going to allow you your take. You're not going to get 40 minutes, right? But you're going to get your take out and we're going to go back and forth. And then I move on, to the next people that are in line. Okay. I get some callers here. It's clear, everybody can hear the show and see the show. So just be patient. But if you call in and hang up and call in and hang up and call in and hang up, guess what? I'm never going to see you and you're going to get pushed down the list. Okay. That's what I told this person recently. And they were like, oh, I get it. And I said, yeah, that's why. So if you just call in and wait, I'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, again, we'll hear from that person. It's nothing but respect. But they understood and they said, okay, I get it. Okay. So I'm just explaining it again. I explain it for all the new people. When you call in, just wait. We'll get to you. Okay. Please be patient. I try not to, my wait times aren't 40, 50 minutes. Again, depending on when you call, but it's definitely not going to be 40, 50 minutes. You're going to get your time to come on. Just be patient. Okay. Because we get callers and I have to respect everybody. I don't care who you are. Okay. How big a name you are, nothing. if you call in, you'll get in line with everyone else. I just want to let that be known too. Okay, I respect everybody. Okay, so salutes to G Wiz. Good to see you in here. Vide Shop. Salutes to you. Tammy McDaniel. Salutes to you. Good to see you in here. J.E. Salutes to you. Adrian Gutierrez. Salutes to you as well for coming in. Steel Stone. NY Jets FL. Always good to see you in here. NY Jets FL be having me dying. I mean, all of y'all be having me laughing in there. So when y'all see me laugh and y'all be like, what is he laughing at? It's because I be seeing y'all. But I got to pay attention to the conversation. But when I can, I do let y'all know that y'all be having me dying live on the show. Y'all be having me laughing sometimes. I got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Prestige Shogun, salutes to you. Sean, salutes to you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that just came on by. Venom G's, you know, all the guys, man. Everybody that came on in and joined and just said what's up to your boy and called in as well, man. I really appreciate y'all. Really appreciate y'all coming on by. SG, just everybody, man. Everybody that came in. J. Cole, all of you guys. Steel Stone, everybody that came on by, man. So I'm going to get on out of here because my schedule is crazy. Listen, be safe, people, okay? Be safe. There's a lot of crazy people out there in this world, okay? I don't know what's going on out here, but the world is just getting crazier and crazier, okay? Be safe out here. Sit down with your friends, your family. Have some good food. Enjoy those times. Let the people that you love know that you love them. That is important, okay? That is very important. Let the people that you love know that you love them. It's extremely important in this world, all right? So I'm going to get on out of here. You folks have a good one. Be safe. See you folks too.